What's up, guys? Welcome back to Fungcast, episode 10. Our guest today is Seth Warner of MycoRising. He's an author and an event holder of something called the Micro Hike. Is it right?
Yeah, nah, the comment. It's Hycrodose.
Hicrodose. I'm sorry, man. My
It's all
bad.
good. You're good.
Hicrodose. We had just spoken about it. That's really cool. We want to, talk a little bit about that. You said that's how often do you have that a month?
We do them, well, we're doing them more and more because like more volunteers are stepping up to help host them in different locations around the Bay Area. So right now we're doing like 6 a month, and those are our standards, and then we're adding like a monthly. So we're getting close to 8 a month, and we're getting more and more people from the community that want to just help out and be a part of it. It's been a really cool and transformative container, very casual at the same time. So it kind of meets, I think, like recreational with like the opportunity for growth and yeah, just a lot of connection happening. And yeah, we call it Hycrodose, hike and microdose.
Makes
And so
sense.
basically, yeah, and we've done it all for free. We give away free microdoses and try to just like educate people a little bit about this, like, the basics of microdosing. We provide like 0.05 gram capsules, so it's really low dose, but you could take as many as you want. So we don't prescribe any quantity or anything like that. Just kind of encourage people to find their sweet spot if they're going to come back again and again. Like, more opportunities to kind of tune it in. And yeah, we just kind of really created a community around this simple ritual of just meeting up, going for a little, 3 to 5 mile hike. We're starting to throw some bigger ones in there. We're going to climb a mountain in like 2 weeks, and that's going to be awesome. And like summit this mountain, and that's going to be a lot of fun. It just attracts a great group of people, and it's really become like a second family for me.
So that answered the question. And so do you go to different different trails and stuff when you do this, or is it a lot
Yeah,
of
man,
time?
all right, but I got to tell you, first of all, Oakland, people don't think about the nature in Oakland. They think, first thing that comes to mind is like riots or, resisting the police. Or there's all this like this sense of like chaos or tension, maybe. That's just at least what I assume because people from other areas always are like, oh, you live in Oakland? Oh boy. But it's a beautiful place, and the mountain or the hills, there's like these hills. It's kind of like nestled at the bottom of some hills, and up in those hills is like crazy redwoods, beautiful trails, huge valleys, streams flowing, and this time of year especially where we're getting a lot of rain, it's really incredible. I mean, you can walk down 10-minute drive from my house and you're walking down through redwoods, huge trees, man, like
It's really
next
cool.
to a it's just incredible. And so we don't have to work that hard to make it a special event every time. It's just the nature here speaks for itself.
When I was younger, I visited an old friend of mine. He was around that area. We ended up going to like the Orinda Mountains.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
That's kind of the same gist, same area.
and it was really cool. You'd be on top of the Orinda Mountains. You get to kind of see. I think it's San Diego, right, or San Francisco.
San Francisco, yeah.
San Francisco. One of those. I've only been to the West Coast a
Yeah,
couple times, man. I'm an East Coast boy.
all good. Yeah, I'm from
Um,
Connecticut actually, so I understand the East Coast vibes.
Dude, that's cool. How long you been out in Oakland?
I've been living here about 6 years. Spent a couple of years up north in like Santa Rosa and some different areas bouncing around, kind of in the world of cannabis, the Emerald Triangle, and all that. And learned a lot of lessons there that I, you know, kind of like I kind of got away from it because I was a lover of cannabis and just saw it was really excuse me, just business for so many people up there. It's kind of like this doesn't feel good. This feels like we're doing the wrong thing, kind of. And obviously working with the plants is beautiful, and I was a gardener for a couple of years, and that's a great job. They're just awesome to work with those plants and see them come into their bloom every year, and just see them go from like these tiny little things, just these crazy nugs and amazing smells. It was so great.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, I ended up moving down here when some laws changed. Our farm went under, and I just kind of like been starting to build this thing one piece after another, and yeah, it's been a lot of phases.
It's pretty cool though. I mean, I feel like even that's kind of even happening. I'd say similar, like arguably in the myco market as well, where like there's some people who are just out here just for you know the
Yeah,
money.
it's the same.
And it's a business thing, I guess. The entrepreneurs will entrepreneur, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's a commodity at the end of the day for a lot of people, you know. But I think like for me, it's really important to maintain that like specialness to it and try to, you know, you can't really get around it because that's what people are used to. But yeah, I really want to, you know, encourage people to grow their own and find various ways. I mean, you're a part of that too, right? You're like you're one step ahead. You're like, all right, well, if you don't want to start from scratch, like here's some awesome substrate, here's some great starting points.
For those of you who don't know, this man is the author of Welcome to Psilocybin. And this book is awesome. It really is awesome because like it's not just a cultivation book of like getting you started, but it also you know shows respect to psilocybin, right? Via like where the its origin and how it's affected him. It's just it it's a perfect journey. It's not just a do this and you will get this mushroom. I really that's what I really appreciate about that book. It's as well.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I really try to highlight the importance of like relationship and connection. I mean, I think we talk about it in broad terms a lot. People say things like set and setting, you know, but I think when you start to really look at what is the mindset going into it, there's so many factors and you can get really, you know, you can really nitpick. Yeah, of course, if you can get mushrooms anywhere and that's what you use for this special occasion or, you know, whatever you're doing, that's awesome. And I'm not here to judge anybody doing other things, but with like such a broad market of people that are just discovering psychedelics, I think it's really important to show up for the people that really, you know, want to make it an important thing, a really like transformative experience right out of the gate. You know, you can grow like an ounce of mushrooms in a shoebox. And I think for a lot of people, that might be a lifetime supply. You know, I don't think,
Absolutely.
you know, took me a while to get through my first ounce of mushrooms. Like if you think about, you know, your first, you know, journeys and all that. Um, so yeah, I really want people to like approach it. I said this yesterday on a radio show, but it's kind of like you know, if you grow your own tomatoes or vegetables or whatever, even if they like kind of suck objectively, you just love them. You know, there's just such an affinity towards that, and I think bringing that kind of connection and relationship and joy, I think also the joy and excitement of seeing those mushrooms pop up. It's so impressive when they go from mycelium to, oh wait, there's a little something there. A couple days later, it's really fucking going, and it's just an exciting feeling. And I get to relive that over and over again with people when you're teaching them to grow. It's so exciting.
Dude, that's have you gotten many, messages of, like from people about the book or how's yeah, I know I got a little page in there myself and I know it has I feel like it even helped me myself.
Right
Sorry, I
on.
just but
I think, you know, I get messages kind of a lot from people because before I did the book, I had the online, well, I still have an online course, and then I had like been teaching in person a lot, you know. And during COVID, I was doing some online
mhm.
classes that were like I probably reached like maybe 3,000 people or something at like during like one online class. It was so crazy.
Oh,
So
really?
I just have a
What are
few
you
of
doing your
these.
online classes on?
Well,
Sorry.
this is a pretty special circumstance. I was helping to lead the San Francisco Psychedelic Society, and through it's a whole other bunch of stories, but through a bunch of like things that happened, I got to help create this conference with Dennis McKenna, and it was like a tribute to Terrence, is what it was called. And we were going to do it in San Francisco with him and at this church. And I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks before the event was supposed to go down, and we had it all planned out. We put so much effort into this. They docked a cruise ship in Oakland that was full of COVID people, like the first wave of COVID on the West Coast, and we were just kind of started scratching our beards. Well, I did, you know. And I was like, yeah, I think we gotta cancel this. So we were pretty bummed, but what actually happened was then everybody went online. So we just did an online event and we got like 10,000 people to come to this online event with Dennis. And then Dennis invited like Paul Stamets and a bunch of his other friends, like Bruce Damer, who's doing a cool project now called Minds. It's like the map. It's like if Maps was for creative problem solving instead of therapeutic use. And
Okay.
just like some really interesting people that have been in the game forever, legends. And
That's really
yeah,
cool.
so, but at the end of that, I did an interview with Dennis about writing his manual with Terrence, and then like after that, I taught my class, which is like the up to date version, and that was just a lot of fun.
Dude, a lot of those names you mentioned are like, those are the guys. You know what I
It's
mean?
insane, dude. Yeah, I've been blessed. Like really, I was like homeless when I landed in Oakland. I was living in the back of my truck for like 6 months to get things put together, and I just started landing, meeting all these cool people, and it
And
didn't take
now
long, but yeah, it didn't take
Dennis
long.
McKenna forwarded your book.
Yeah, it's pretty, it's pretty cool, man.
That is sick, man. How does that make you feel? Like,
It feels kind of surreal because at the end of the day, I just feel like I know my whole journey, and I know like I believe that my intention's true. I believe I'm like the right person for this or something, but at the same time, it's just like wow, like there's so much luck, or call it cosmic, like the universe, pronoia, the universe looking out for me, these kinds of things that have like made my journey what it is. And today I'm like, just I get to call some of these people friends that are just been doing this forever. They've been in the game like for so long in different capacities, different substances. And yeah, I think it's a lot of it is proximity as well, just getting to be out here, out here in the Bay, where it's kind of been, where, Haight Ashbury was in the 60s, the summer of love, all that stuff. A lot of the deepest roots in the psychedelic culture, at least as far as the United States and maybe the world, they're rooted here. So, and I don't take advantage of that as much as I probably could. But through just happenstance, I've really gotten to rub shoulders with some of the big boys and big gals, I suppose you could say as well.
yeah, man. I feel a lot of times when you search it, it doesn't really like show its face, right? I feel like even like living in, well, I used to live in New York. There's so much opportunity there, but it kind of just happens like, bumping into somebody
Yeah,
in the subway.
yeah,
It's kind of funny
totally.
how the universe really supplies us with these opportunities.
Yeah, like another example too is like the first place I found to live after being in a shed was like a friend, or sorry, after being in my truck was like a friend introduced me to this couple that were living in this house. We all got along. It was great. They let me stay on their couch for a little bit, and then I was like, "What are you guys doing with this shed in your yard?" And there was just like an old fridge in there. And they're like, "Do you want to like live in our shed?" So I ended up living in that shed for 2 years. But the guy who owned the property is the founder of this project called Sacred Garden Community, which is like creating this like entheogenic church that's like popping up all over. They're kind of creating like these offshoots and doing this really awesome. They're doing a really beautiful job. I think there's a lot of ways to create a church. I respect what they're doing. Um, and so there's just been a lot of that. Or like the first place I went when I was living in Santa Rosa still, I went to this permaculture conversion. So I was like, that's kind of my whole intro to mushroom stuff was through permaculture. And I met this dude who's like teaching a mycology workshop. He's like, "Hey, like you seem really into this. Would you ever want to come to my events down in Oakland?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'd love to. That'd be so cool." He's like, "Also, I'm going to be moving soon, and you could be the new lab manager for the mycology lab." I'm like, "What the hell?" And then turns
All
out
right.
I was like, "All right, yeah, cool." And then when I was there, the people from Fungi Academy, you know about Fungi Academy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
they were
well.
there. So I met them. And then also Alan Rockefeller was like doing all his DNA sequencing at that lab. And it was just like, what the hell is going on? Like I'm
That's
clearly in
awesome.
the right place, Yeah,
Perfect place, perfect time, I'd say.
I'd say, yeah.
When you're not like just doing the Myco stuff, what do you like to do for fun, man?
I love adventures, so I like to try to do some adventures here and there. It's pretty generic. Honestly, dude, I'm so busy because trying to build the community and stuff has been a big my work with the Myco stuff has really like I've tried to make it like what I love, so I'm getting to meet awesome people. I'm getting to have adventures where we're like planning camping trips for the community. We're doing like hikes. We're doing all the stuff I like to do. We just started a rock climbing meetup. We have a craft road dose as like an offshoot. So like somebody in the community that leads like an arts and crafts day. And so I just get to
Nice.
make all these cool friends and we just do like fun stuff. I like to play music, but yeah, I really like going to the rock climbing gym. We have some awesome gyms out here for that. And there's like sauna in there and stuff. So it's just like a very self-care type vibe when I go. And yeah, I like to do a lot of things. I kind of just like trying stuff. There's a lot of great music here in the Bay too, so I go to some shows here and there, and yeah, it's pretty broad.
Don't know any music you like kind of listen to specifically, or
I go through a lot of phases. Like I don't know, maybe a year ago this time I was like deep into like a cumbia phase, or not cumbia, chicha music. It's like psychedelic cumbia from the Amazon. And if nobody knows what that is, like it's awesome.
I
It's
have
like
no
the
idea
best.
what to.
It is the best like music for just like it's like it's kind of like that, and
Really?
then there's like great bass lines and it gets funky and I love it. But right now I've been listening to a lot of like hard rock and I don't know, just like classics. I grew up like listening to like System of a Down and stuff like that, and I don't know why that just always like drives me. That music, it gives me like some sort of like passion. I just found out recently that Dimebag Darrell has a solo album, so that's been cool. And I
Okay.
he was like I think he's the lead guitarist for Pantera. And anyway, I just go through a lot of phases of music. How about you? What do you listen to?
Dude, honestly, I listen to like a lot of EDM, so a lot of like house, progressive house, some dubstep kind of. I
Nice.
think that's like for the most part, I listen to like everything except country. Um,
Okay.
yeah, it's like polyamorous, you could say, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I used to say that. I used to like hate rap when I was younger. Now there's tons of hip hop rap that I really like. And country, it was like the last holdout where I was like, oh, I just don't like country. And I was like, wait a second, this is basically like new bluegrass. And like, I just think there's good music in every genre. Like, there's this guy Sturgill Simpson that has like a bunch of really psychedelic songs. And yeah, anyway, yeah,
I agree, man. I think like I don't like. I feel like there's got to be at least one good song in every genre of
one.
music, right?
Yeah. And I'll say
Uh,
I've gotten into EDM a lot too because all my friends are like really in that, like a lot of burner type people, and they just love like all the bass music. And so I've been to a bunch of that stuff, go dance all night long at the club and have a blast.
it's fun. I even like listen to it just kind of like waking up and like having my coffee. It's kind of I can see myself being one of like the older, like just an old man that's got a bunch of tattoos that's listening to like dubstep at like 8 in the morning.
Yeah, it's like your
Like,
alarm clock.
I fucking told you,
Yeah.
mom, it wasn't a phase.
It's like I'm not getting out of bed till the drop, okay?
Yeah, man. That's pretty much. I'd say like yeah, pretty much what I listen to. Yeah, I guess like lately it's been more so house. Just been on the
Yeah.
house vibe. Um,
Yeah, I like house music. It's I
and
haven't been on a vibe with it in a while though. I'll be honest. So if you could shoot me some recommendations after this, I'll definitely check them out.
dude, for sure.
Sounds like you got
Um,
a bunch.
there's like so the pack mat, the local drop zones. I skydive for
Oh,
fun.
okay.
So
Cool.
my local drop zone, there's like the pack mat where you can pack your parachute and get your parachute packed, and there like the pack mat playlist has like the best. It's like the best playlist ever. Most of the time, as far as like house music and stuff like that. So I gotta also try to get that playlist and send you it so you have a
Right
little
on.
variety of some good
Dude,
electric music at least.
why are you jumping out of planes, man?
Dude, why not?
It seems like too much. Don't you think it seems like an awful lot?
It is,
Jumping out of
man.
a what do you
It's an
love
awful
about it,
lot.
man?
It's terrifying.
That's why it just keeps you like totally. Was it the adrenaline rush or is it the flow state or how
So
would you
I
describe
actually
it?
got my license for my best friend. So he actually passed away. So I got
From
my license.
skydiving?
No, no, not
Okay.
via skydiving.
Sorry either way, but I was just
Thank
curious.
you. Yeah, I got my license for him. So I ended up getting my license a day before his birthday. Uh, 1 year, after he passed. Um, so that's like why I got my license. Why I started jumping was because it's like 100% him. Um, but then
Nice.
I found like this like I found my love. I found a love for it via myself,
Yeah.
But like fucking a man. Talking about like I'm terrified of heights,
Yeah.
believe it or not. So
Isn't it like a different level though? Because it's like heights are scary from like 30 or 40 or 50 because you're like, oh, I could fall off this. But like jumping out of a plane, it's
it's
totally
like that's
different,
how I
right?
kind of describe it. I feel like it's completely different. I'm at
Yeah.
30. Sometimes 13,000.
You can't even really see the ground. It's just earth.
Yeah, you're just like flying. You're just in the air, and then you're like just looking at Earth, and then you like just jump out, and it's just like now you're just flying around,
Oh.
and you can like turn, pretty much like
Yeah,
with like
yeah.
little hand movements like that, or like by legs. I don't know, dude. I don't know why. Like I do it because I love it, man. It's fun to jump out of planes with some friends, bro. Nothing like it.
I'll tell you, yeah, that's good enough reason. How many jumps do you have under your belt?
I currently have 201.
All right. Don't you need like 10,000 to do the squirrel suits?
No, you only need 200.
Oh, dang. Okay. Are you
Yeah,
gonna move in that direction, you think? Step it up a little?
maybe one day, but I feel like realistically, I should be at like 500,
Yeah.
400, 500 jumps. You got to
It's
really
like a
learn how to
high
like fly my body, right? So
yeah.
it's like you got to learn how
It's
to
a
fly
pretty
my
high
body in the
percentage.
sky, then learn how to like do it with a wingsuit. It's called a wingsuit.
Yeah. Have you ever seen these this is kind of I'll bring it back, I promise. Have you ever seen these like third eye pine cone necklaces people rock? It's
Kind of
like
like
a
at the
slice of
festivals.
yeah, yeah, it's like a slice of a pine cone and then there's
Yeah,
like a
dude.
jewel in it or something. Yeah, so I met the guy who started that company recently and he's like such a junkie, adrenaline junkie. And he's like really nice guy and he does this thing where they go down the side of mountains but they have like a paraglider, like a small
Like
glider.
speed flying.
I think so. And they go down like the side of mountains through like ravines and shit like that. And he's just like all about it. That's like all he does now. Sounds pretty rad, but it's just like I don't know. I really enjoy being alive, and I get that is it's like the rush of that is the feeling like you're going to die in some way.
I wouldn't even
It's
necessarily
really
so like it, it's barely like sorry like skydiving. It's barely safe, right? It's like I'd say it's arguably more dangerous for you to like drive to the drop zone than it is to do a skydive.
all right. Okay,
Um, I think all right, like if you
statistically,
do like a quick Google,
yeah. Let's hit it up. Let's get it. Let's get into statistics. Let's.
since 20, I think it was in 2019. Should we could go by 2020, but it's 2024 right now, right?
Yes. Like, hold on. Let me check.
Uh, so I guess like how a tandem skydive, it's at 0.002 fatalities per 1,000.
So
That's like not even
one in
one.
100,000. It's like two in 100,000.
Maybe yeah, something like that.
All right, pretty good. Pretty good.
And that is an article from I don't know.
Well, I'm not your mom, dude. I'm not trying to discourage you from doing it,
No,
but
but I mean,
have
I was
fun.
just I had to do the research myself before. I had fucking A,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
You're like, this seems sketchy. We're jumping out of planes. Yeah,
And then
yeah,
it's like
man.
I have like a lot of friends who work there now at that point, and they're like, "Dude, the gear wants to work. Parachute wants to open." So it's like, and they're right. The parachute wants to fucking open.
Yeah, it's got an agenda. All right, fair. Don't let the parachute let you down, or let you down gently, at least.
Well, so say that you would never go skydiving?
No, I'd probably do it. I mean, I would. It's not like I don't feel compelled to do it, though. I'll say that too.
Fair
Like
enough.
Yeah, I've
It's
done
not for
plenty of sketchy
everybody.
shit though.
I
I've done a
respect
lot of sketchy shit, so don't get me wrong. I'm not judging on that. It's just kind of interesting. Like I always like to ask, like provocatively, like, why are you doing that? Because I'm sure you have your own reasons. And is that like the first really thrill-seeking thing you've done, or is that like in a long line? Do you like ride motorcycles and stuff like that too?
it. I have my dude. I have my motorcycle license. So, but I mean, I never had a bike. For the most part, I mean, yeah, I used to like longboard and stuff. I've done a lot of longboarding, a lot of skating as a kid, all that good stuff. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Um, so I guess like kind of, yeah, I'd say this is the most adrenaline seeking thing I've done personally, which is,
Nice.
but it's like it's cool. Been able to like beating fears and stuff is like that like mental barrier you break through. You know what I mean? It's like breaking through like bricks and walls and stuff. Similar to like psychedelics, man. It kind of like
Yeah,
you it's just like you take a bunch of psychedelics sometimes and then you like you know it I
see
wouldn't
what?
necessarily say it doesn't necessarily like break through walls per se, but it tells you what you need to know whether you like it or not, right?
Yeah, which does
um
push through a lot of walls. I mean, sometimes you really don't want to know the shit it's going to tell you.
yeah, true, but I feel like it's not necessarily pushing through a wall per se because that's something that you already knew that was already bothering you. I think there's a I think there's a common, I want to say almost like misconception about like psychedelics. It's like most of the time, it's
Yeah,
like it just intensifies stuff that's going on in your brain, right? So like whatever's
yeah,
bothering you is already bothering you. Um, I guess sometimes you need a little help of like figuring out what that is,
right.
but it's like it's usually like it's happening, and then you just need to like realize that it's happening, right?
Yeah, and then you can get some new perspective on it, or like a totally like outside yourself perspective sometimes too, which I think feels really cool. And you're like, oh my God, I can see this how a other person sees it, and then you're like, oh, it all makes sense. God damn, I've been in the wrong
Dude,
this
that's
whole
my
time.
favorite. That's my favorite, man. When you're looking at yourself as like a different person, it's like somebody listening to this podcast right now who's probably never like who's never done psychedelics or anything, hearing that statement is probably like that person's crazy. And it's like
Maybe a little. Yeah. I mean like I think that is what's cool about psychedelics though too, is they can kind of like, I mean, dude, you meet like I shouldn't necessarily say meet, but like you might talk to some people on the street that are like totally crazy, and sometimes they have the most profound things that they say, and it's like beautiful. And at least I kind of interact with homeless people relatively frequently in the Bay, and yeah, I mean, I try to always like stop for a second if I can, because it's like there really is like a lot of there's a whole person there, and they're having a whole different experience than I am, and it's just interesting to get those perspectives. And we talk a lot about altered states, but it's just a different state of consciousness, and it's a different worldview. And especially like if somebody's schizophrenic or something like that, they're just hitting you with like cosmic, I don't know, I was like walking down the street maybe a few months ago, and this guy's just like, hey, you're a red giant, man. I was like, what are you talking, like, you're a red giant? And he starts hitting me with like all this astrology stuff, and he's just like, but it was crazy because he was talking to me, like he was really talking to me. He wasn't just like saying crazy stuff. He's like, he's seeing this whole different perspective, and it was cool. And I'll just say I was I'm pretty close to somebody that does a lot of work in like this space of like psychic energy work, things like that. And they were like, yeah, actually a lot of the stuff that he's saying is like on point. And I don't know, it was just fascinating to me. And I don't know where I'm going with this tangent, but just wanted to take that trip.
dude, my friend we were talking about my buddies, sorry. I just had like a brain fart. Um but so my buddies Jared and Casey is Jared and Casey. We went to the Oklahoma Myco.
Fest? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Fungi Fest last year. They're like good friends of mine. I learned how to do mycology with them. But they got like, so I guess on that like energy thing, they got this thing done where they had like this aura. And it was like they basically just took a camera, like a photo in front of them, and then they saw like a bunch of colors that they were radiating, and like those colors were like attached to like some attributes and stuff like that. I didn't do it, and I don't know exactly what all of the intricacies of that it are,
Yeah.
but energy is a real thing, man.
That's been one of my favorite things about psychedelics. They really open me up to like these, it takes like this stuff that I used to, that's woo woo, that's kind of BS or whatever, highly skeptical of like everything. And just start to be like, oh, there's like a really practical side of a lot of these things. You really start to really consider like, what is psychic energy? It's like everything in this world that is man-made was ideas at one point, and then those ideas got put into reality. And it's like that on some level seems like a psychic power. You can just create things in reality from ideas, and like you don't even really know where they came from a lot of times.
Time.
Like they'll just come to you. So it's like even on the very practical level that we're all experiencing, yeah, it's just like, yeah,
Like
I guess,
imagine
yeah,
a life
time too.
without time, man. And we
Ugh.
invented time. And it's like I have no idea. It's like no idea. I couldn't even imagine. It's kind of
Time is
insane.
really interesting. Yeah, I was like reading a lot about time at one point, and just kind of getting into the history of like clocks and stuff like that. Right? We just take it for granted now that we're all synchronized on a clock all around the world all the time. But there was a time where like people were supposed to show up at these jobs or show up for roles and things like that in their lives, and there just wasn't
Dude,
really like a clear. It's like, all right, the sun's coming up, so like go there around the time
I
the
was like, I'll
sun's
see
coming
you at a
up.
half past raspberry bush.
Yeah, exactly. It's like real general time.
Yeah, man. I think it's kind of crazy. It's got like this whole kind of experience, whatever we're having, is crazy, man.
I
It's
agree.
like
It is pretty weird.
we all meet, like we all talk to all these people. We all like we're all just humans trying to figure out whatever we're figuring out. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah.
but it's also like a beautiful thing, man. We get to
What do
figure
you
out.
think you're figuring out as a human? What's your path of figuring out?
I
Or what
don't
do
need to
I don't know. Of course you don't know, but what do you know about it for now? Where are you at with
So
it?
far, man, bills suck.
That's my path. I hate bills.
No, I'm just kidding. I really enjoyed teaching people how to grow mushrooms. I think honestly, mycology has arguably given me my path, right?
Yeah.
That I've kind of turned into the mushroom man, in the sense. I help people with like little like yard mushrooms, just in case like they message me because their dog ate something they shouldn't have, or gourmet medicinal kind of psychedelic side of things. Pretty much for the most part, I've turned into the mushroom man. I really enjoy being that guy. I get to help people with something that I've found love through. Um,
Yeah.
what about you, man? What are you like? What's your path like? Uh, what are you feeling, man?
For me, yeah, I don't know. I think obviously, like kind of like you're saying, it's a path of discovery. So it's like the curiosity takes the lead, and there's so many phases to it. I feel like I'm entering a new phase right about now. Actually, it's a good time. But
Me
I
too.
mean, I've really been focusing so much on just learning about connection as like this baseline thing, and I kind of got into the mushrooms from, yeah, like I was saying before, through like permaculture stuff, and I was visiting all these intentional communities. I was really trying to figure out like how to help be a part of changing the world or society or culture, or just like having an impact. And that led me to like go to visit all these intentional communities. I did like a bike tour down the East Coast. So it's just purely like adventure, discovery, and also like living like really modestly. We had no money. So we're like dumpster diving and then like work trading and all these things to like survive and have this adventure where like you show up on a bike from like 2 states away and people are like, damn, like welcome in, come on in. Like what can I do for you? You need help, clearly. And but we always just brought good vibes with us, and it was a blast. But really trying to learn about that, like what is this like cutting edge of I mean, we can like so many people agree and resonate with the sentiment that there's things that are severely wrong with the status quo right now. And I definitely feel actually a lot more at peace with all that after the adventures and after everything I've learned. But, I understand the sentiment, and it was extremely strong when I was growing up. I was just like, had this like stressed. I was stressed out about the state of the world. I was like taking it all on. And yeah, I think like I felt ultimately so disconnected from everything, like from a real community, from myself. I didn't really know how I felt besides not good. And also just like from nature, even though I did spend a lot of time outdoors, I'd say that like, that was a big journey for me. And even like the microdose I do now, so much like what I was doing in high school with my best friends. We just smoke weed in the woods all the time. We just go out, like you're safe in the woods, you can get away from things in the woods. You can be
Yeah,
away from
for sure.
society and so we just go out there and go to our favorite parks and hike and smoke and be away from the police and be close to like just this cool ass stuff, big old rock piles, nice trees, fungi, fauna, all that.
Do you do like outdoor rock climbing, or is it mostly like indoor at the gym?
I've only been back into climbing for maybe like less than a year. So I do love, I have in the past really enjoyed doing outdoor stuff, but it's another one of those things. Like I think I'm pretty hesitant to take like a lot of people get hurt climbing, so I just am
Yeah,
trying to take it slow and not hurt myself. And outdoors can be a little even sketchier. So, just going step by step and really want to that brings me to the next part. So I've learned a lot about connection and building community and like kind of like what I want to help see and create externally, but now it's really time to focus a lot more inward and not just on like helping to dislodge pain or to like move through like what's holding me back, but I'm realized like okay, I'm pretty much like in a good headspace. I got to start constructing like this self and this identity that is like a proper vessel that can like really carry out my mission. And that to me is like starting to be, it's intimidating. I'm fucking scared, man. But like, I'm just feeling that call. And a lot of signs have shown up to kind of give me that heads up. Like, yeah, it's kind of time to be an adult, be a man, and like really, step into that bigger role.
dude, I feel similarly as far as like the next phase, right? That you mentioned that, and I just turned 30, so
Mm,
my
32. I'm 32. So,
it's like the beginning of the 30s, right? It's I'd say this is like looking back at my 20s. I'm like, damn, I had fun. I had a blast. Wouldn't
yeah.
change a thing, but also understand that, like, okay, there are some things that I do need to change. And still, while still being the same person, but you just, it's just time to
No, I
do.
think I hear what you're saying, man. I mean, because for me, I'm 32, right? So I think when I was 28, I was already like, I'm 30. I'm gonna live like I'm 30. I'm gonna, I'm gonna like get in the
100%.
zone. Yeah. So like, I just remember being like, yeah. But
But then I
it's not.
realized that, like, now at 30, I still wasn't even living like I was 30.
Oh, obviously not. You're just trying
I
to
was
get
living
ahead of
like I was
yourself.
18. Like, fucking A.
Oh, dang. All right. All right. But I
No.
think for me now it's less like, oh, like what do I have to like stop doing or what do I have to, it's just like really I just need to like integrate more structure into my life, like basically get up at like the same time relatively every day, try to get to sleep
Yeah,
at the same
man.
time, like these basic things that I ignored my mom about. She's like, you need to clean your room. I was like, do I need to clean my room? Turns out I actually do need to clean
It's like, why do I need to clean my room? Nobody's
it.
coming into my room. And it's like,
Yeah,
actually,
20 25 years later, she's right.
the only reason why people aren't coming into your room now is because it's dirty. No.
Filth.
That's me for sure.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I mean, I think the mycology is a good practice too. It's definitely helped me like learn to build that structure and order. You got to be there for the fungi at their
For
different
sure,
phases of
man.
life.
You gotta be super clean, right? That's like, gotta be sterile. You be on
Hmm.
time. The mycelium and shit doesn't wait for anybody. So it's like when it's ready to transfer, it's ready to transfer. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Um, when was your first grow? Like, when are you actively doing any projects right now? Do you have any projects going?
I typically will like have a little bit of like a couple of little like I've never been a bulk grower really. I just grow like
Yeah.
a couple of shoe boxes here and there, and that's what I teach. So I just try to stay in practice with it and kind of tweak little things and keep learning about it. Mostly like been loving growing hillbillies for a while. They're such a fun, I don't know, like it's just such a like a basic strain in a way at this point. But when I first found it, it's like, oh, this is magical. I love this so much.
Dude, it flushes
But
hard. Hillbilly, you could never,
oh
what I
yeah.
mean? Like, if you're looking for a canopy,
Yeah, it's so satisfying and it just happens like okay, cool. And I'm growing mushrooms for the microdoses for the community, so that's like a big part of well, that's a big reason why I just keep it going and all that. But yeah, like I think the first time I grew mushrooms was like honestly right around the time that I started let's see, I think it was pretty late in the game because I'd been growing like other mushrooms like gourmet medicinals and I was in the cannabis stuff and all that, but there was no like place to grow psychedelic mushrooms. So I didn't get into it. So I guess probably that's so funny. I don't think anybody's ever asked me this before. I'm really trying to think like the first time. It was kind of with a couple friends at in like 2018, like 2018.
nice,
So not that
man.
long ago, really. I haven't been in it for forever, really. 6 years, I guess. But it
Dude,
was funny because it went from there to like I was already teaching about gourmet and medicinal stuff, and then so it went from like me having that experience, and then I was teaching these other classes like for like basically free. They're like barely for community, and people are just constantly like, "How do you grow psychedelic mushrooms? Like, how do you grow shrooms?" It's like this isn't really what that's about. And dude, I did not want to be that guy. I was like, "Ah, I've seen what cannabis world is like. I don't really want to like attract that type of energy in a way." But
yeah,
then
man.
it was like the people that were asking me were like students, like I don't know, they just weren't like whatever my imagined stereotype was. So I realized, okay, I gotta let go of some of these judgments and like I can actually help a lot of people doing this. And it's so funny. I ended up having a co-teacher for my classes for a while, and she was this 65-year-old woman who grew mushrooms to help her son get out of depression. And I was just like, this is a tearjerker. Like, this is so
It's
awesome.
beautiful.
It
Yeah,
was so beautiful. Yeah, it felt like really obligated almost to continue down this path.
for sure, man. It's getting those tearjerker stories. That's not the only reason why I do this, but that's a big part of
Yeah,
it. It's just some of it's just heartwarming, and for the most part, I think it's like I don't think it's that I guess serious at times. And sometimes it's easy to get I feel like lost in it, where it's like it's just a simple question for me at that point. But then it's like answering a simple question to like possibly give somebody an answer that is like a gigantic answer. You know what I mean? It's like for what I think this is, it actually is like much larger. Um, and
yeah,
that's like I think a cool thing as well. We get to like just like pretty much give off this knowledge, right? Share the knowledge with other people, and then actually make like significant life changes in different people that you might not even know until like 6 months down the line.
yeah,
Um,
totally. Well, I think it's like it's a space that just attracts so many people that are like trying to grow, and that's like kind of what's unique about it. Because a lot of people do come to psychedelics and be like, psychedelics, change me, please. But I think a lot of people really understand even coming into it, like, okay, I'm gonna have to like, this is something
yeah,
that can help me do what I'm already trying to do. And yeah, for that reason, I think there's just a ton of stories. And man, yeah, that's what's kept me
dude.
going. It's so fun to be like, and just with the hikes too, we get to see people like every week or whenever they show up, and you get to see people's progress over time. And I love it. I feel like I'm like raising like a garden over here. Just gotta keep watering it.
I actually had to have that like the conversation with a friend of mine locally recently, whereas it's not like none of this stuff is it's not the answer, right? I think there's a lot of people. Sorry, I got like an eyelash in my eye and it kind of hurts. This is like it's not the
We could stop.
answer.
You want? Sorry.
No, it's okay, it's okay. uh you still have
Not
to
the
do the
answer
work.
though. Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah, yeah.
just sidetracked.
I
um
got you.
So you still have to do the work, right? Like obviously, and the work that needs to be done is whatever work that needs to be done via yourself. Nobody knows the work that you need to do other than you. Um, but like for like people who like want to like come into mushrooms thinking that like, okay, I'm gonna do this. This is going to heal me, and then like this is going to cover, this is going to clear coat my brain, and this is going to make me live longer. It's not like that. Yeah. It you still got to obviously put in the work just like anything else. I feel like in the similar sense of like manifestation, right? Like if
Yeah,
you sit on your ass and do nothing and say I'm going to win the lottery every single day of your life, but you don't move off of your couch, you're not going to win the lottery. You got to at least
probably
buy a
not.
ticket, right?
You gotta buy a ticket. Yeah,
Um,
man, I agree with you. I mean, I totally agree with that sentiment. And if I was gonna play a little bit of devil's advocate here, I'd say like it is kind of surprising sometimes how much of an impact a little bit. I think like on the actual like pharmacological side of it, we're gonna learn a lot more about what's going on. But it seems like, especially with people suffering from different like some serious depression, I've just seen, of course, again, this isn't like, hey, it'll work for you, but I've just seen a few stories where people like do like 1 gram doses like once a month or something like that, and it just keeps them off. They don't need to take pharmaceuticals anymore. And I can't explain that. I don't know why that works. That's where I'm like, God damn, this is magic. Like this is
Dude,
amazing.
I
Like
agree. I
yeah,
like firmly believe that this stuff works, right?
yeah.
As well. And like, but like, as far as like like a medical standpoint, as if I'm a doctor, I can't really be like, um,
No, I'm not prescribing anything.
you know,
Yeah.
take a take a point three of mushrooms every day, and it'll keep the doctor away. Like,
Hey, it might though. That might be 5 years from now. That might be happening. And
and it kind of
maybe that.
already is in a sense of like similar, like there's like the psychedelic therapies and stuff. That's I don't know. I'd have to research more into that. I actually had a friend um, ask me about that recently. If Florida is doing psychedelic like therapies, and I don't think they are, but I'm pretty sure there's some states trying that out. And like John Hopkins University doing some stuff with like the nicotine with coming off of
Hmm.
nicotine. I recently stopped vaping. I'm on day 3 of no nicotine.
Oh, dude, that's what's up. Yeah, I got caught in a vape cycle for a minute there. I was doing tobacco like rollies and stuff when I was traveling around, and it just kind of stuck with me a little bit here and there. And yes, the vaping is rough. It seems fine, but it seems so fine that you just do it constantly. And then I
Yeah,
felt
dude.
like it was just tearing my lungs up. I was getting tired all the time.
That's how I felt, man. I was getting tired. I feel like I got like this like cough for no reason. It's like a vapor's cough. It just
Yeah,
like I guess
there
you
is
get
a reason.
yeah. No, it's 100% a reason. I'm just sucking up like vegetable glycerol, like the glycerin that's tastes like strawberries 24 hours a
Right.
day.
Damn. It is
uh,
crazy. Uh, um,
but yeah,
for anybody out
day
there that's
3.
addicted to vaping, just switch to Zyn.
Oh, bro, those things are spicy. I was actually just talking to a friend about that today. They make my mouth water, make me like dizzy.
Yeah, you gotta
Um,
watch out. It's dangerous. But
I can't
yeah,
do
I
it.
mean, if you have to be addicted to nicotine, I think stop putting it in your lungs is like a good starting point.
Fair enough. I think that's why I just kind of quit cold turkey.
That's the way, dude. That's what's up.
Uh, man,
Maintain. Day 3.
I know day 3. I really want to hit a vape, but I haven't yet. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I'm not gonna do it, but gosh darn, I could really use a vape hit right now.
Oh man.
No, I
Yeah,
just
these
smoked a little bowl.
addictions are so interesting. I was I can't remember what I was listening to recently, but they were talking about addiction. And it's just like it's the best teacher you're ever gonna get. We talk about like these sacred plants and medicines as like teachers and master plants, but it's like,
I like
dude,
it,
if you're
man.
if you're really addicted to something and it's spanking you every time, it's just kicking your ass and you can't stop, like there's a very deep lesson in that about, just how we conduct ourselves and
100%. It's
how
like an
our
ongoing
self-control.
lesson too, right? It's
Yeah,
like this is like a lesson that's rubbing it in your face. so to speak.
It's like you have no
It's like
control.
you
Ha
can't
ha.
stop,
Yeah.
and then you're like, damn it, you're right,
But then
but
one day, Jason, you say, "Yes, I can. Yes, I
you're damn
can."
right. You know,
Yeah.
that's it. So I've done it. No more nicotine. I actually, I've been, yeah, I haven't drank any beer or any alcohol since the new year as well. I'm gonna go the whole year without any alcohol. Just make it,
Right on.
Cali sober.
Just smoking 5 grams of weed a day.
No, just like smoke a couple bowls. It's not even.
Yeah.
Uh, Try
I
not
was
to
playing.
just
Yeah.
trying to be more present, right? I think that's the goal, is to be more
Totally.
present in just life.
Yeah. Totally, man. Yeah, alcohol is an interesting one. It definitely gets a lot of hate in the psychedelic space, at least out here. Everybody's like, there's such better drugs than alcohol, come on. And I tend to agree with them. But also, there's like, if you could have like a
I can
beer
see a
with
social aspect.
friends, yeah,
You can have a couple of drinks as long as you just don't like. I guess like a lot of things are like the negative stigmas are attached to a lot of things, right? So it's like when you say alcohol, you think of like just that like belligerent drunk asshole,
yeah,
right?
yeah, right. Oh, you're gonna start fights? Is that why you like alcohol?
Yeah,
Huh?
you're gonna get angry, or you know what I mean. I guess so. It's like there's like some people. I feel like with like just people in general, right? Some people can hold their substances or whatever better than
Yeah,
others, and while some people it's like it's possible to have like a couple of drinks and then go home. Others it may not be. So it
yeah.
really depends on just who the person is, right? And whatever your flavor is or whatever your poison is, everybody's got the flavor of the day.
Well, to bring it back to being present, right? It's about consciously using something, you can fall into the same traps with microdosing, even, microdosing mushrooms or whatever. You can abuse damn near anything. You can hyperventilate and pass out. If you're like, oh, this breath work is so good, I can't get enough. Woo! Hit your head on the concrete. That's not cool, you know?
Oxygen.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously moderation, right? That's a
Right.
pretty classic
Moderation
lesson.
in moderation. I think
Yeah, don't moderate too much, guys.
the key to life is moderating your moderation.
Yeah, it's complicated being a person, man. But I'm curious, how did you fall into or I don't know, fall in, but how did you grow into the world of fungi and all that? What was your intro? What were you
Man,
doing before this?
I was yeah, dude. It's a good question. I feel like this just turned into my interview.
It's a You said we're having a conversation. This is how
No,
I
no,
do
I'm just kidding.
conversations.
It's definitely not an interview. It's definitely just a conversation, man. Uh, I don't like the word for some reason we use the word episode because I don't want it to be an interview. But yeah, bro. How did like I come so I guess when I'm 15 was the first time I ever took mushrooms. Uh,
Nice.
I thought they were hydros. They were hydros, bro.
What is
I
that
didn't
even? Is that a strain? I never
no
heard
like
that.
hydroponic. I didn't know anything
Oh,
about anything. But they like looking back, it was penis envy. I took an eighth of penis envy to the dome. First time ever doing mushrooms.
and it rocked your world.
I had like an out of body experience. Watched
Right on.
myself walk down a hallway. And like I couldn't even make this up, man. And it's like I've told this story countless times. And like I walked down the hallway. And this kid like had like his parents I think must have done whatever or something. They had like a 3-story house. It was a really gigantic house. And a fairly wealthy family. So it was like they had their own movie theater in the house. And I came from like, dude, I came from not that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
We
You did
we had
not belong there,
we're
is
lucky
what you're
we had a
telling
roof.
me.
Yeah. So tripping balls walking down this hallway, and as soon as I make a left in like after the long hallway, I was like back in my eyes. So I like just walked probably about like 15 feet, and then like that was my out of body experience. Walked into the movie theater. We all jumped on the couches like freaking children. It was a blast. But that's like the beginning of my psychedelic, I guess journey per se, right? But it wasn't until like 2020 I got a Midwest Grow Kit.
Oh, sweet.
Midwest Grow Kit. It was a BRFK Grow Kit. and I think I actually mentioned this before, but I got it from, or I think it was on the episode with Mycotrophic, but got a spore syringe, popped in like a 12. I think I used like the spore syringe for 12 cakes, one syringe, and I got like 11 success, 11 successfully germinated, excuse me, one contaminated.
Dude, that is an incredible ratio for your first PF grow.
Dude, it was
I feel like
crazy.
so many people get nothing on their first PF tech grow. It's just like that. I remember when I was first getting into it, and like I was having these meetups at that Myco lab I was telling you about, and it was just like everybody was trying to grow PF tech, and it was just like maybe a quarter of the people or half the people maybe were having success with it, and it was just like it's a challenging method for everybody that's like the first time. This whole Uncle Ben's situation for the first timers now is like just insane, or the fact that we could buy like bags and grain from you, like substrate and grain from somebody like you, is just it's such a different world.
It's kind of crazy, man. It really like I think everybody needs to do BRF cakes, PF techs. You know what I mean? I think everybody needs to do it because it puts so much emphasis on the sterilization
Yeah,
techniques, right? Because you had to be sterile every time. You had to inoculate 14 cakes that were made of rice, like brown rice flour. I'm getting closer for you guys so you can feel the like intensity of this.
intensity of it. You sound
Yeah,
traumatized, dude.
I lit my arm on fire countless times in a still air box,
God damn.
dumping spores into a BRF cake. You know, it's
Yeah, I feel like you suffered enough for everybody. They don't need to do it. Just putting this
just
out there, people, don't do it, all right? You don't need to suffer. You don't need to light yourself on fire.
do it. That's if you wanna,
You
wanna be cool. No, I'm just
you want to be
kidding.
on the in club? Yes, yeah.
Do it just because it'll like make you a better mycologist. A year of BRF, then you'll have no problem doing anything else because there's a
Yeah,
bunch of
that's
other
real.
videos and like knowledge online now for like making grains to where you don't really need to, search through the bad shit.
Yeah, it's so much easier now. I mean, thank
Arguably,
God for the shroomery. It brought us here. Shroomery brought
yeah,
us here. But god damn, that was what a back and forth relationship with that
and Reddit,
website.
man.
Reddit, yeah.
Reddit
I
was a
never
big
got
one
deep
for
on that.
me.
Nice. Yeah, I was just like a lurker on Shroomery forever. Just like, okay, this seems good. This guy seems like, there's a lot of likes here. These people seem mean. Okay, this seems like bullshit. All right. Like, trying to figure out what I guess you'd say the wheat from the chaff.
Dude, I got like I was like before I even started growing, I like got to the point where like I was like answering questions and I didn't even know what I was doing. They're like, "Is this
That's the
Katam?" And I'm like,
problem, dude.
"I'm pretty sure it's Katam."
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was the
I've
problem.
read some books.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
read some books. I've read some articles. Okay, I know what
I
I'm doing.
belong here. So fun.
Um,
Yeah.
man, do you have any I guess aspirations to go to any events this year or any Myco festivals?
I don't, yeah, I don't go too far out of my, I don't do a lot of that. I got invited to speak at the Utah Fungi Festival. It's coming up, I think,
What
in
about the
May.
Entheogen Expo, dude?
When is that?
It's February. It's like next week. It's February. Uh, it's in San Diego. Pretty sure. Yeah,
Oh, cool. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really think about events very much. I
it's in
just,
San Diego. Isn't that far from you?
like 7 hours maybe driving.
I'm coming. I'm going. I'll be
You're
there.
gonna be there? Oh,
Yeah.
nice. You got a little booth, or how's it? What are you doing?
I'm sending over some grain bags. I actually like this coming up Monday. I'm sending out the grain bags. Just as like a little sponsor kind of thing.
Cool.
I'm just gonna go and hang out, see a bunch of friends, man. If you can make it out, that would be pretty cool. Alan Rockefeller is gonna be there.
Nice. Yeah, we get
Crime
to see
pays, but
him.
botany doesn't. Uh,
I don't know him, but yeah, I know about him. Yeah,
that like he's gonna be there. A bunch of other people. I don't
cool.
know, just a bunch of Myco
I don't
fans.
know. I guess I just feel like I'm like still in my incubation period in some certain ways. Like I feel content, like just staying here, grow, like kind of plugging away, getting things going. But I see a future where I could be traveling around more. I
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't get a lot of like FOMO and stuff, and I feel like it's probably mostly just a great time socially, right? It's like a little vacation, get to see all your friends, like
Yeah, for
see all the
sure.
cool
That's kind of
Myco
like how I take
people.
it, man. That's why I don't really get a booth or anything like that. It's just more so just kind of like I'm going and hang out with friends with like the Micah homies, right? Who like talk to them every
Yeah.
day.
I went to the MAPS convention this past year. I don't know. It was like it's not called the MAPS, like psychedelic science in Denver. That was like the one thing I actually made it out to. I got like a volunteer spot, so it was like all free, you know. And I don't know, that was pretty cool. That was really wild. Met some awesome people there. I feel like that was enough event for me for a while.
I respect it, man. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's not for
I'll do
everybody.
more.
I did go to events for a hot minute myself.
Yeah, I guess I still feel like I'm still getting grounded and stuff, you know, like I like the Bay. I don't know, we'll figure it out. I don't know what my block is. Maybe at some point I'll just get right through it and I'll be at all the stuff. But for now, I don't feel the call.
Yeah,
People are always
that's
like,
okay.
"Have you ever done ayahuasca?" I'm like, "Nah, not really." They're like, "Why
Same.
not?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't. I usually do things when I feel like I should really do that." And I haven't really felt that way
Yeah,
with
dude. I've never done ayahuasca myself. And the
but
events were like something I didn't really do for the longest time. But now
mhm.
it's like I've kind of already been showing my face. People already know who I am. It's really kind of, and
Yeah, yeah.
it's cool just to go meet a bunch of people. Get those stories in person rather than on, from the Instagram, from the Instagram.
Enneagram, the Enneagram. No,
Um,
yeah, totally,
yeah,
man.
man. But so your website, right? You got a website. So
Yeah,
what,
MycoRising
MycoRising Fungi?
fungi. Or you go to mycorising.com, it'll redirect you. Or you could go to hikerdose.org, and that'll take you to the Hikerdose page. So it's all redirects, but it'll eventually all be its own thing. Um, yeah, man. I've Yeah, I think this next year for me is just going to be about like really building out this like organization that I got going right now. And then from there we'll see what happens. Right now I'm looking for a space to actually start renting out like a bigger place. I have a roommate and have it be like kind of a community center for mycology stuff here in the East Bay and do like classes there for cultivation, but also things around microdosing, using psychedelics safely, and just like, just community events of all sorts. And so that's one of my main focuses right now. I'm really excited about. And I guess probably stuff like that. My mind goes there, and I don't really think about it's so much to go somewhere. I get so dysregulated if I go to an event and come back, and it's like, I don't know. I want to be stable. I'm like craving it.
I like, I respect it, man, and I totally appreciate that. I feel the same way. It feels good to feel good, right?
Yeah,
Feel
exactly.
comfortable. Um, and I
What are you
feel like,
excited
well, like
about
with the microdose, if you
Yeah.
guys can't make a microdose, welcome to psilocybin is basically, uh, that in
Yeah. You can
word
start a
form.
microdose. Try to get as
Um,
many microdoses going in the world as possible. Dude, honestly, I just want to say this. Like, I did a lot of community building with like Psychedelic Society, San Francisco, and I think what we did there was great. Like, we really like leaned in a big way on creating integration circles because it was just something that there seemed like there wasn't enough of, or there wasn't a variety. Like, not a lot of people felt like it was like for them, so we created like a wide variety. But the one thing that I feel like with the Hycrodose, it's like everybody gets the integration they need. They talk to the people they need to talk to. Like they have, it's a place that's like cool to talk about psychedelics, about your experience, about your personal growth and all that. And it's just like kind of filters for the people that are focused on that because it's psychedelic focused. And it's without getting like too high or anything. You might get a little buzz from the microdose and all
well,
that. It's
yeah, it's
very
a
like
good way to like
grounding. Yeah, it kind of opens you up a little bit.
comfortably do a microdose, right? There's a lot of people who are like terrified of mushrooms, and most people I've come across are like, "Oh my god, I don't want to see dragons," or you know what I mean? And it's just like, well, if you get enough people together who all think that, right, and then you bring them around a couple of people who actually know what they're doing, and then it's like you get to introduce them into this like journey where it's like describing the experience of mushrooms to somebody who's never done it before. It's almost impossible to do it, in my
It's
opinion.
almost impossible. Yeah.
Like I don't even know how to begin. It's like the way what I say is just you feel weird, and it's like
Dude, I love that. I say that too. I'm like, well, it's definitely weird. Like that's we can all like agree on that.
I'm
Yeah.
like, you get weird. And they're like, what do you mean by that? And I'm like, that's like the best I can do.
After that, you're not gonna understand. I promise.
It's like, after that, you're not going to understand. You're going to have to experience the weirdness for you to totally understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, totally. It's like if you had ever had like alcohol or any other mind-altering substance, or you never spun in circles and been dizzy before. It's like
Yeah.
it's just weird, man. I don't. It's different. It's not how you normally feel.
It's like, you're not going to see dragons, but you're also just going to feel weird. And perfect way to explain it. I
Yeah.
guess,
Dude, did you know Jim Fadiman is like when he originally coined the term microdosing, he said, okay, basically a microdose is like the trees and the flowers look brighter and more beautiful, but they're not talking to you. Like that was the
that's a
gray area
beautiful
for it.
way.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I've never had a goddamn tree talk to me, so apparently like 10 grams is still a microdose.
Dude, that's what, if I hear some of these stories, people are like, I spoke to my floor tile. It came up out at me. And, you know, like, I was like,
You're
what?
blessed. You are blessed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the closest I had to that was a out of body experience. That was on the 8th of Penis MB. And
yeah.
that's like, because it just like, coming from the, just, I was an innocent child and it destroyed me.
Wait, what kind of like mystical experiences have you had from, I love talking about this, like from psychedelics. Have you had any
Man.
really?
Well, like that whole night, honestly, was kind of crazy. Like, so before I had the out of body experience, like I was in this room, um, and like it was like their game room, right? So
Hmm.
it was just kind of like it was like almost like a hexagonal kind of, pretty sure room, like and it had like, because I remember the ceiling, they had like almost like crown molding, but it was like 360 degrees, like in a circle. So it almost
Okay.
looked like it was kind of like a
Yeah.
telescope, you know? But I was tripping so hard that I was looking at the ceiling and I saw stars in the circle, you know?
Nice.
So it's like I saw the crown molding and everything was the room, except I'm looking at like this like inner circle of like on the ceiling and I see stars and I'm like, there's no way I'm seeing stars right now. I'm inside.
Yeah.
Then
That's
after that, it was like, because I was like, okay, so I was like a child, like I was like, no, I was 15, I was like a teenager, right? So I'm like, I was swimming in the carpet because I didn't realize it was wet, because
Wait, it
they
was
had just
actually wet?
it was wet because they just cleaned the carpets, but nobody told me that. So then I was like swimming in the carpet. My One of my really good friends comes in. He's like, "Bro, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Bro, it's water." He's like, "They just cleaned the carpets." I was like, "Oh."
This is weird. Get out of here. Go away.
No, yeah. So then
People
I
get
got up
so
and I was
freaked
like,
out
"Whatever, I'm gonna
sometimes.
go to the movie room." And then I went to the movie room, had the out of body experience. I'd say that was like my most spiritual experience ever.
Just mystical. Yeah. Right on.
Mystical, like, just kind of insane. Like that's one of those stories where like I feel like a crazy person when I tell people it. What about you, man? Like, what's a story, psychedelic
Well,
experience
yeah.
where you're like, this is 100% this has happened?
I have like kind of like a variety of different types of things that happened. Um, I remember the one that was, well, I'll give you a couple. I'll give you one that like kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. One was like uh met up at a beach, had like a bonfire with some of my friends, and like just coincidentally every like three different people brought mushrooms from like different parts of the world. Like one person was like from Mexico, one person was from like Northern California, one person had brought them from like the East Coast, and we made this tea with all of it. And man, it was like October in, or maybe November in the Northern California. It's pretty cold, and then the Pacific is a pretty cold ocean as well. And I don't recommend this because, it's dangerous. But we ended up swimming and like body surfing all night for like in the water for like probably a couple hours and just laughing, giggling, like having a blast, not cold at all. Like, and it's just like a superhuman kind of ability. And I've had other kind of things like that where, because I love psychedelics and hiking, obviously. So I've done some like serious, like uphill, like basically like just charge up a mountain on like mushrooms. And I don't know what that is, but it's, I would love to see studies done. It's like you know, some sort of right conditions where like a bodybuilder could like lift like 30% more or something like
Oh
that if
yeah,
they're on
like the
mushrooms, you know,
emergency adrenaline
or like,
kicks in.
yeah, or I don't know what it is because it's like I feel good, I feel calm, I don't feel like I'm dying or anything, you know. But they talk about like I don't even know what the validity of these stories is, but about like the barbarian berserkers, you know, that they'd like do. Some people say amanita, some people say psilocybin mushrooms before going into battle, and then they would just like destroy everything and like know that they were gonna die. And just so maybe I don't know. I think there is some sort of like potential there for this like
It
superhuman,
makes
and I think
sense.
that to me is spiritual. That's like the most like earthly spiritual. You know, it's like, oh, I'm like really tapping into my like I don't know, whatever like chi, life
That
force
primal
energy. I'm
energy.
becoming unstoppable. Yeah. And like that is like an
Super
incredible
Saiyan.
feeling. So yeah, exactly. Like my hair goes straight up, like yeah. That's always been an impressive thing to me. And another another side of that is like, and it's crazy because I've done much higher doses, but actually the most potent psychedelic experience of any kind I ever had was 3.5 grams of mushrooms in like a retreat type setting where there was like a couple of days of preparation and like diet cleanse, cleaning the diet out, all veggies and stuff, and like doing like sauna and yoga and breath work to get ready for it, you know. And man, I dropped into like this, and it was weird because not everybody had that experience. It was really like whatever, it was the right time and place for me. And man, it was like closing my eyes, I was doing like breath work to get into it. And like I was even like kneeling, and I just remember like these lights like kind of coming down with my eyes closed, like inside. And it's like all of a sudden I was like getting abducted and pulled into this like
That's
non
crazy.
it was like another dimension because it wasn't explainable. Like we're used to like vision being like our three, like this field of view,
Hmm.
you know. And it was just like 360 visual awareness in this realm of like vibrating light and like different things. And there was just like a sense of communication through like vibe, and that was insane. And then that like I broke through that into this realm, like these different realms, dude. I was going through like just all these realms. Like another one was like I saw all these versions of like me like inside of like little egg sacs like for like eternity, you know. And they were all like little
Okay.
like malnourished things, and like and then I got the message like just breathe, keep breathing, like oh. So I breathing, and then they all started to get healthier and healthier. I was like, okay, well this is crazy. And then you know another part of that was like seeing going into like the like I don't know really what's it called, but just being like observing this like almost like a galaxy shape, like with all the arms coming out. But each arm of the galaxy was like a different type of energy. It was like electrical
Okay.
or like mechanical or like flesh and like or you know like meat energy. I don't know all these, and then like you know plant, and it was just crazy, dude. Anyway, that was pretty wild. That was a long night, and it was. I remember
Dude,
going
that
away
sounds
from that
great.
feeling like but I don't know if you can like resonate with this feeling where you're like, I didn't need to see all that. I'm just a person. Like, you know, I don't know. Where I was like, that's too much. But, you know,
Yeah,
as
man.
obviously integrating that was pretty cool. And I feel like I've had some like kind of more like psychic type experiences too, like connection. Like, have you ever had like a mind reading kind of thing with somebody? I was like doing mushrooms with my girlfriend one time. I think we both did around 7 grams. And, it was weird, man. She was like fairy mode. She was like, "Oh yeah, like moving around, like kind of just like building a campfire and all this stuff, or like out in the woods." And I was like in the back of like a Prius, laying down, like I just got like spread like a pat of butter across toast, just like, ugh. And but at some point, like we started, like she came and sat next to me, and we just were like talking like a couple words, but then there was like this extra conversation going on that was just like totally mental. It was like total, I don't know. It's hard to explain, obviously. But
No.
like it was like I would be like, wait, I don't know. I'm not gonna try to explain it right now, but basically like a very simple conversation of like yes, no, like are you okay? Or like what's going on? What is
That
that? Kind of
energy,
like
this
a
is like full circle back to like, energy, man. It's like
totally.
you could
And I just did like a
really
five
feel it.
gram trip, like a kind of inward journey, maybe 2 months ago. No, a month ago maybe. And I've been like having like I've been noticing my left eye getting like blurrier over time, and I just kind of really felt like this like surgery type like energy all going to it and like trying to heal and grow it. And yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff like that happens that has happened for me with mushrooms. And I don't know. I especially with like that like healing thing with the eye, like I'm just gonna roll with like that's a good thing, that's healing and it's
You
positive,
say
and I don't
so,
have
right?
any proof, but yeah. Yeah. So I don't know.
Whatever's
It's
happening is
interesting.
happening, and it's doing something good. I want to say I got one more question for you, man, before we
All right.
wrap things up.
Oh, we're not
Um,
doing like 3 hours? I thought we were gonna go all night, man. Come on.
I mean, we
All right,
can if
fine.
you like. You can come on me, and you can come
All
with
right,
me to
one more
do
question.
some errands and stuff.
Yeah,
I
you
gotta
got a
go
life. I
grocery
forgot.
shopping. You ready?
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah, one more question, and it's pretty just not related to anything we pretty much talked about.
Okay.
And just gonna say, what's your favorite thing to snack on, man? Like, what's your go-to snack?
Ooh. Um, just like music, I go through phases with snacks. Let's see. Lately, I have not been snacking that much, but when I do, I'll do uh I'll do more like trail mix a lot, or let's see. Oh, that's so funny. I've been eating some fruit. I got some oranges, apples,
Got
peanut
you
butter.
thinking.
Yeah. I've also been doing like protein lately, like protein shakes. So that's kind
Okay,
of been part. I would consider that a snack, kind of, you know.
absolutely.
Um, yeah, I'm
Damn
like
near a
six
meal at that
six.
point.
It's yeah, I'm like really tall, so it's been always difficult for me to like maintain weight, you know. So like always having these goals of like I'm gonna be this much weight, you know. It's silly, yeah.
Yeah,
But
man, I feel the same. I have like
I
ulcerative
feel way
colitis.
healthier. Oh yeah, it's hard. Keep the
So
weight on.
yeah, my body doesn't absorb all the nutrients of the food that I eat already. So it's like this,
Mm.
when I do
Does that mean
eat,
you have to eat like more, or you just have to be really careful to eat the right stuff?
I guess I feel like I have to be careful and I have to eat more. I have to eat
Okay.
more of the right stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit of
Right on.
best of both worlds.
Yeah. Are you a big like fruits and veggies guy, or what are you
It
into?
depends. Depends. I try to stay away from like seeds and stuff. I like my
Yeah.
pretty much like rice, chicken, fish, green
Yeah.
beans.
Keep it simple. Yeah,
Keep
I
it
try to keep
simple.
it
Keep it
simple.
stupid
Yeah,
simple, dude.
for sure, man.
Um,
Do you have a favorite snack? Just I'm curious. Like you seem like you might know a lot about snacks. I'm kind of a
yeah,
novice
man.
myself.
I ask a lot of people questions that I find hard to answer myself. So it's like I kind of just set people up for failure with the questions that I ask.
No, dude,
And
you're
to
setting
get it
yourself
turned
up for
around on
failure.
me is the
Yeah, I'm
worst.
turning it around. I think I
No,
did
I'm just
okay.
kidding.
I,
Yeah, man. I like. So it depends. Realistically, I feel like I've always been a fan of fruit roll-ups, like Gushers. Kind of like a children's
dude,
like pet like preservative snacks. But also I
yeah.
really like uh, strawberries, pineapple, mango, little mandarin. Like I like a lot of fruit. I was raised on like eating a lot of like fruit. With a little whipped cream, like whipped cream and strawberries could
Oh
go a
yeah.
long way. You know what I mean?
Oh dude, hell yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I'm here for like the basic like healthy snacks. While I do love candy so much, I understand that it's just terrible for you. That doesn't stop me from eating it. I'm not.
I think that's like the last thing you want to do if you have ulcerative colitis
Hey,
is
you
eat
gotta. Sometimes
candy.
you gotta live a little and eat a tomato, baby. You know what I mean?
And by tomato, I mean an entire front roll up.
It's an entire family pack of gushers.
I know, what is it? Fruit by the foot. That's like the one that's really long. Yeah, that's so
Oh
cool.
yeah, I'd slam like two of those in like a setting. Um,
One sitting.
Yeah,
Dude.
I guess, yeah, with that being said, it's been really wonderful talking to you, Seth. This is arguably like
Thanks.
our like first, true conversation. Um,
Oh, really? What have you been doing? Just grilling people?
no, I feel like you and I.
Oh, okay. Cool.
We haven't
Yeah, no,
really
it's been a lot of
spoken,
fun, man.
too much, and it's been really fun. No, yeah, I've been for the most part. No, I've just been like having people come on the podcast, bro, and I've just been like, hey, let's talk about things, and it's been going well so far. Uh,
Right on.
yeah, man, it's been really good talking to you, and we're a little past the time slot that I have for
My
this, but
bad.
that's okay. It's been super great. I guess to
Yeah.
finish it off. Do you want to would you like to close it out? Give people a little something about you know.
Yeah, I'll just say, if anybody is interested in learning some basic methods of growing mushrooms and using them for like to really experience their potential magic, check out Welcome to Psilocybin. It's written in a way that's just really inviting, and the whole vibe is really to welcome you to psilocybin and give people a good understanding of what they're getting into from a kind of like a non-dogmatic space. I'm not really like pushing mushrooms as much as just sharing from experience and trying to add in some of the best wisdom and methods for growing, and trying to just like really distill the best of the best so that people don't have to spend too much time reading a ton of different things. Other than that, I'd say go out with your friends in nature and do some microdosing or a little bit more, and just focus on connection. And I really hope that like through more and more and more people focusing on connection, that the world will be a better place. I don't know how it translates to all of our problems being fixed, but I know that it makes people feel better, and I think that that is in some ways really important.
Heck yeah, man. I really like that. Definitely, just be nice to people. They'll be nice back for the most part.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
But
It's not
yeah,
always
bro, it's
easy.
been wonderful talking.
Yeah.
And I'd like to have you on, another time. Get a little update of the life, see how everything's going in the future, and where your ventures have taken you.
Cool, man. Well, I look forward to it. Until then, much love, Jason.
Much love, Seth.
Oh, wait,
Thanks.
let me hit you with this real quick. I'm trying to get this to catch on. Okay, ready? Can you see that? That
Yep.
little mushroom there? Mush? Love, bruh.
Much love, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
That's a little mushroom hand sign
oh,
mush.
wow. Okay.
See that?
Wow.
Little mush right there? Trying to get the contrast there. So there
I
you go,
see
the
that. That's
mush.
really cool.
And then you hit the heart. Much love,
Much
yo.
love.
Yeah,
That's hard.
much love. It's a little bit tricky,
Gotta
but you get
practice
used to
that.
it. Yeah, yeah. Then you're in the much love gang, start flashing signs at people.
Dude, that's it. That's the best gig ever, man. That's the kind of gig I'm here for.
Yep.
Much love, y'all. That's how it goes. Peace out,
All right.
everybody.
Great talking to you. Be
Great,
well.
great talking to you as well, bud. You have a nice rest of your evening.
You too.